Nice shots captured by the cameras. Fox Sports exclusive here at Dockland Stadium. The Hawks by 25 points over the Blues at quarter time. Jared Healy and Danny Frawley, your thoughts to quarter time?
Well, quite amazingly, Spud, I reckon we're sitting here thinking Carlton can't go much worse. Hawthorn probably can't go much better, and the numbers will confirm all of that.
Well, the effective disposals, Gerald, have a look at that. 49 to Carlton, 86 disposals hit the target. Inside 50s, you'd expect that 16 to 8. So Carlton definitely need to take the game on. They need to give their forwards some opportunities.
I think they've got to find some run out of defence too, and they've got to establish that run and get confidence in it by keeping the footy. Rowan, you've seen, I think, a bit of a surprise at quarter time.
Yeah, well, as was mentioned during that first quarter, Jared, that probably nobody expected Hawthorn to win, but they came out, full of flurry, I suppose, and had nothing to lose attitude, and they were terrific in that first quarter. So Carlton have got a lot of work to do in this second quarter. And just an update, BT, you've noticed Campbell Brown limping off in that first quarter. He did go down the rooms. It just looks like it is certainly a leg injury, maybe an ankle. I'm not too sure. The Hawthorn coaching staff and the medical staff were a little bit, you can just see him limping down the rooms. Maybe it looks, he's got his boot off, so it's certainly maybe his ankle, but they were being a little bit sheepish when I asked them. So I'll just keep an eye on that and just try and give you an update as the second quarter continues.
Yeah, I just reckon looking at the vision there that you saw, Rowan, that you're quite right. The ankle to the left ankle of Campbell Brown looks in some trouble. Don't think he'll play again today.
No, I reckon his day's just about over. Some of the younger kids for Hawthorn, Spud, Suckling, Kennedy, Tuck also with 11 possessions. That's a great start. Shields was impressive last week. Moss also with half a dozen pretty good possessions.
Yeah, it looks like Campbell Brown is done for the day, Jared, because one of the substitute tops on the bench, I'm not sure who it is, but it's off. So Hawthorn have only got the one substitute now.
Okay, so already the Hawks looking for an extra player through that substitute. You can see just the red vest in the background there. It's just one of those left, and the other one has been acted upon immediately with the removal of Campbell Brown, who you saw down in the rooms. We're ready to start the second quarter here. It's the Hawks by 25 points.
And Mitchell's going to start outside of the square. He's on the half-forward flank, and Stevens is going to continue to run with him. But everybody up on the square for the Hawks, which has left the whole forward 50 for Jared Roughead and Jared Waite to fight out.
Taylor for the Hawks and Jacobs for the Blues. The Blues winning out through Jacobs there. Taylor, though, the ground level was a nice little give. Sewell ran around in the circle. How he avoided the tackles in there, I don't know. Tuck, foot to ball, and mark taken in the end by Bauer.
Too many missed tackles there, BT, from Carlton.
Yeah, there were, weren't there? Here's Rioli. Couple in pursuit. Kick. Nice kick. Lands in the waiting arms of the Hawk player there in Thorpe.
Got Roughead one-on-one on top of the square.
You just can't give the ball back like Thornton did just there. Carlton have been guilty of that half a dozen times. If they tidy that up, they're a chance to get back into it.
Glenn was desperate at ground level, couldn't take the mark overhead. And now the Blues with some numbers still standing in that contest. Kick, though, just finding Jordan Russell. That's been their issue in the first quarter, kicking. Turned it over a bit by foot. Getting it into the right hands. And I'm not sure you want to go through your ruckman Jacobs to transfer play all the time. They've done it a few times. There's Gibbs. And
he's one that has to get into this game along with Murphy. Those two young guys still very much in their apprenticeship, but a lot is expected of them.
Favola in the contest with a kick in from Robinson.
Simpson, another one.
Trying to keep it alive there, Simpson. Back to Mitch Robinson. 45 out. You wanted him involved, and he's just had a flying shot that misses.
Better passage of play, Jared. They're trying to take the game on through the middle of the ground and run through the corridor with some hands.
Number 40 pick. Mitch Robinson. It's a very nice number 40 pick to be showing this form this early. McGlynn through the middle for the Hawks. Sewell once again able to avoid the tackle pretty easily. Williams has got the high ball to contend with in front. Bauer did well even though he got nudged out. Now Grigg. Handball over the top. An opportunity here for Chris Johnson, who's been okay for the Blues. Mitch Robinson.
In the back.
Oh, that's a free.
Should get it. Campbell.
Nothing.
Nothing on offer at all.
Could have put a saddle on him.
The Hawks wind up through the midfield. There's skipper Mitchell.
Kick.
Beautiful, wasn't it? To Thorpe. Thorpe will go to Roughead, uses his body, not quite in the right spot. Thornton chase him down. Roughead with a kick. Was it touched on the line? Down to you, umpire. Goal.
That's a magnificent goal. Was it in the back? The hands in the back is debatable. We'll have a look at it on the replay in a minute. But
It was a line ball on the line as well.
It was, but you have a look at this one here, Jared. Oh, he hands in the side. Benefit of the doubt. Kicks the ball.
Good decision, umpire.
Great decision. That's great athleticism, though, from Jared Ruffhead. We expect him to take the high mark. We don't expect him to kick the ground level goal like that.
Great shot. There would have been a lot of Carlton people at home watching it saying it was touched on the line, and good to have that side-on vision. And Jared Ruffhead, well, the bookies have got him about 20-1 for the Coleman medal. I think he's one of the best investments you could have.
Jump on, because what did he kick last year? 75. And he would be a big chance if he stays at home a little more often, although when Franklin comes back, Jared, I'm tipping he might just take a bit of the forward thrust action.
Yeah, he might, but he might be up the ground a bit too. Who knows? He was playing on the half-back flank in a practice game some time ago.
How's the handball from Judd out of the middle then? Swift, Murphy and Stevens combining, and Guerra just chips in at half-back.
Young Mitch Robertson just caught on the back foot there.
Bateman. Little too heavy in the handball to McGlynn, couldn't control it. Judd. Here is Robinson. From the centre, driving ball for Vola will like this. A one-out opportunity, one-on-one. No one at ground level to help. Did it himself. Can he soccer off the ground? No.
It's only a game of millimetres, but that kick to Favola just had to be out in front a little bit more. It was just kicked on his head, which allowed Gillam, which was a very good spoil by Gillam, but just kicked the ball to space to bring
hang on, Spud. We've got the goal umpire out on the ground. Goal umpire has come out to Ray Chamberlain and said, I never saw it and I never heard you give the all clear.
Back there.
So this is just a technicality, nothing more than that.
Well done, mate. Thank you.
There it is, Ray Chamberlain, the all clear, which he forgot to do. Got to get the score right, says Ray Chamberlain to Brendan Favola.
He's all over it, Ray, isn't he?
Yep. Well, he wasn't. Well, yeah, he forgot to make the decision, but in the end, Ray, nice work if you're watching this tape. Here the Hawks reloading. Campbell, the big man.
Impressive player, Campbell.
Oh, nice grab. Well judged by Mitch Thorpe.
Oh, have a look at that shot.
They weren't great. Murphy. Combining here an opportunity for Johnson. Inboard, here's Judd. Got rid of it. Gibbs ran into trouble. Bounced out of it. Simpson gets hold of it on his favoured left side and nails it.
They're warming up the Blues. They're taking the game on, Jared. There may be a couple of little mistakes there with handballs. The momentum of the ball in the first quarter, there was too many handballs out the back, and they're on the back foot. This time they're running forward towards goal and forcing the ball forward. This is better play from Carlton.
Well, they're getting some numbers up into that forward line. First quarter, they just turned it over so quickly, so they've maintained possession. It was a nice tidy up from Simpson. But Bryce Gibbs, well, he was caught in the cluster and he didn't really know where he was at that stage, so they've done well to rebound and get a goal out of that mistake.
And the skipper, you talk about how do you get your team going, Jared. Already in this quarter, Chris Judd's had the 4 disposals. 9 for the match.
Side by side, Sewell.
Back within 23 points here, the Blues. The early stages, second quarter. Judd opening the way.
Good hands.
For the Blues to run onto the ball. Here's Simpson again. He normally does something with his kicks, and this is no exception. Mitch Robertson very coolly says, no, I'll go back and I'll take this shot.
And that's a classic Carlton play. We didn't see that in the first quarter. The ball, the momentum of the ball kept going towards goal.
It's a haircut that's not aesthetically pleasing. Nevertheless, he has it. Here is the young Mitch Robinson. From about 45 to 48, did not nail it very well at all. Up he flies, and no winner in the air, and the Hawks will come out with the ball. And Rowan Smith, who was the player that Hawthorn activated as their sub, replacing Campbell Brown?
Well, BT, Hayden Keel, number 46 for the Hawks, have come on for his first game, so he was the substitute for Campbell Brown.
He's on the rookie list, BT, Hayden.
Okay, here's Bateman to Mitchell, pursued by Waite. Once again, the tackle didn't stick. Mitchell able to bounce to the feet and get it to Ruffhead, and this is danger here for the Blues, although some very nice evasive work by Stevens. Johnson went without it, and now it'll be down to the cool hands of Houlihan and Stevens. Swapping possession of the ball, and a little chip once again, just a little bit too much on it. Murphy's lucky, got a bit of an elbow to the head, accidental by Birchall.
We know him earn it. Grant Birchall there. A certain mark.
I like the way the umpire Michael Jennings did that. Just a little whisper in his ear, you know. It's a bit of a high tackle there. No overworking of the communication skills between umpire and players.
It's good defensive work there by Hawthorn. They made Carlton kick to a contest, and Carlton have been good enough to win it. Here he is again.
Simpson's come to life as he gives to Judd, and he was really pushed on the boundary line, hit the boundary post on the full. Simpson's starting to cause some problems for the Hawks up forward.
There's that free kick. Takes a couple of games for everybody to get themselves up and running, including Chris Judd. His kicking has not been top-notch so far today.
Gillen was run down. Favola has given away the 50.
Ray's very quick on the whistle there, BT. Favola
got a quick but positive whistle, Ray.
Well, the intent was there from Brendan, and look, he did try and turn the Hawthorn player, maybe a little bit stiff there.
Roughhead, no player in front of him, so he has to do the U-turn. The high kick around the corner was a bit of hope about it, rather than any great design, and Hawthorn will lock it in their forward 50 as a direct result. Carlton tackling stats, 5 this quarter to Hawthorn's 2, shows the lift and the intensity that the boys have been speaking about. Stevens across the defensive goal square. Always fraught with some danger, but when you're as cool as he is. And an opportunity for this young man here, Mitch Robertson, just steps around one player and does it nicely in the kick. Not what it should have been. White Cross takes the mark on the wing.
Jared Wade, as you can see, at the other end of the ground.
The Hawks through the middle. Young was always looking for the 1-2 off Guerra then and got it. Super goal territory, won't get the journey. Roughhead got rid of his man and will get it free. The advantage was paid, but Roughhead has been contacted high.
It's amazing, that kick from Clinton Young, how a defender, when it's put into that area, you become reactive. And it really is a dangerous kick, and all of a sudden, Roughhead's going to kick an easy goal.
It'll be his third, Danny, and they lead by 29 points, the Hawks.
It was a great counter-attack, Jared. It wasn't from Hawthorn. They ran the ball down. Clinton Young, you could see the old 1-2. He's got one of the best left legs in the competition.
Is there any chance that the Hawks are playing rope-a-dope, Spud? They've got the whole competition playing zone defence, and people having extra numbers or very few numbers in their forward line, and yet they're going long to the goal square. They've gone back to Tommy Hafey in the 70s.
And they've had 22 inside 50s to only 13, so they're denying Carlton. The point you make, Jared, is worth debating. No doubting that. They are going long, and why wouldn't you when you've got Roughhead, Franklin to come back in, Mitch Thorpe, Mark Williams.
You speak about having game plan A and game plan B. Right now, the Hawks look like they've got control of their match play, both defensively and in attack.
Too many plans for the Hawks at the moment against the Blues. Stevens. The kick is good to Simpson.
He's been good this quarter, Cade Simpson.
Armfield runs forward for him, and that's a good result.
Jordan Russell pushing forward hard.
And that'll be a chip over the top, as you say, Spud. And Jordan Russell will take the mark within range, but I do say, once again, in that difficult pocket.
Carlton need to do that more often, though, because the Hawthorn defenders are getting around Favola, double, triple teaming, so they need, the midfielders, Jared, need to run in hard to these spaces.
Well, Lee Matthews has been making the point for most of this pre-season that Carlton have got to find another avenue to goal. Sadly for the Blues, I think their most obvious other avenue cruiser is not here today.
Russell needs to be able to bend the ball left to right, not able to do so. It was right to left, and that's why it's a difficult kick. Not many players can bend it left to right. And a minor score the result.
And of course, Jared Waite has played pretty good football at centre-half back for the last couple of seasons. He's probably the other obvious choice to go forward.
Guerra really backs himself in this situation. Got it inches over the fingertips of Betts, and Young didn't seem to have an awareness that Betts was right on his tail then. Got away with it. Fly by Williams, not successful. Stevens can set the triangle up here and
dangerous kick.
Tries to kick it into the corridor, and doing so collected a Hawthorn hand. Sewell just tries to muscle his way through. Murphy to Gibbs. The 2 number 1 picks, Armfield involved. Not quick enough, the Blues with the hands. Let's see what the Hawks can do it with the hands on the ball. Gibbs back out to Murphy, now Stevens.
He's numbers out here in the wing, BT.
Time to consider the options. The skill disposal wasn't great, but nevertheless effective. Fisher, Houlihan, good awareness in the tackle. Fisher again, Murphy, the kick, one-handed down low was Favola. Getting a little annoyed, comes to Judd. Judd to wait, can run to the open goal. 2 goals apiece in this second quarter.
Well, they're making it happen, Carlton. They're making a couple of blues. I think it's great that Jared Waite's gone down there also, Jared, just to give that other option. Young Murphy, just the one kick off one step, could have done a little bit better. For Favola, good poise under pressure out to Chris Judd, and it took
the throw.
Did he get a fist on it? We'll have another look. Yeah, it could have been a little bit of a rugby scrum there, but great awareness for Chris Judd. You talk about decision making. He makes the correct decision all the time, Chris Judd.
Is that the biggest thing in football these days, decision making? Is that what they're doing at training, Danny? The big issue they're working on?
Very rare do you just see a drill from cone to cone, BT. It's all decision making. They throw extra numbers down defence, and it's all about making the correct decision.
It is, but you still got to execute. And I see a lot of people who may make the right decision, but we've seen Carlton, their execution today has led them to this really poor start. And you couple that with the pressure that Hawthorn have put on, and I guess the two go hand in hand.
Yep, they do indeed. The Blues fight on inside their attacking 50, and the instructions from Ray Chamberlain clear there. These umpire mics that have been in for some time now are very good in diffusing spectator situations, and certainly for those at home viewing on Fox Sports exclusively today would be loving it.
A couple of possessions for Murphy in these last couple of minutes. All important. I mean, he's one of their gun players. He's one of their creators, and they need a lift.
Boundary umpire doing his best to really point the ball in. Here's Eddie Betts.
Needs to get hold of it, Eddie. He has not been near it.
What's he had, Jared,
just
today?
The one. And it's been tough going up in that forward line. Favola's struggled. Eddie Betts has struggled. There hasn't been any real purposeful delivery at all, Spud.
No clean ball at all at the moment for the Carlton forwards.
To hear Ray Chamberlain say to the other umpire, Jennings, stay there, AV. AV Jennings. Very nice work, Ray. Ball in dispute in the forward 50 for the Blues. They would love another opportunity at goal here because they are just 22 points adrift.
We've got 3 Carlton players just leaking to the back here, trying to defend, but it's Roughhead versus a kid in Jamison. 1 out, so I know I'd be backing if the ball comes in 1 out.
The Hawks with lots of numbers, almost an escort down the ground here, and now in the hands of Whitecross. Young.
Good tackle.
Armfield was very good, Jared.
I think he's had a pretty good quarter. He's had a little bit of intensity. His body language has been great. I reckon his coach might have just asked him for an effort at quarter time, and he's delivering.
Ball up in the end, no free as a result of the Armfield very good tackle, and we'll throw it into the interchange area. Good look at the line across the middle of the ground there for this NAB Cup only. Driven into the ground, could have almost earned himself a free kick, Keel.
Now, why stoppage is so important is because if Hawthorn win it, you've got Jamison, a rookie that's been elevated up against one of the highest draft picks going around on the ground at the present time. He is in dead set no man's land. He's got no help, and the pressure doesn't come from teammates up the ground, Spud. He's going to get chopped up.
You're right, Jared. I think one of the Carlton midfielders, even Thornton, he's on Ben McGlynn. He could fade off out the back, sag out to try and double team Roughhead in the air. I think that's the correct play.
Been a 0-0 draw so far this second quarter, which is halfway over. And you consider it was a 25-point margin at quarter time, and it's still at 22. There's Mitchell to Roughhead down low.
On the full, maybe?
I reckon he got a boot on it.
Yeah.
Well, it was only disposal away from Roughhead getting his shot at goal.
But it was good from Brett Thornton there, Jared. He did get back, which forced Mitchell to kick that ball wide. So they need to do that more often.
Did get a boot on it, but didn't carry on the full. The trim, new-looking body of Jared Roughhead lost how many kilos, Spud? 8 or so, I heard.
Jeez, he looked pretty mean when we were having a look at him warm up. Yeah. He looks like he has been swallowing elastic pills. He was bouncing and looked really set for a big year.
The Blues are away. Armfield has got the advantage. The kick to Favola. Get it done in the air. Nice hands wrapped around the pill.
Well, it's the first time Favola has been able to run and jump at the ball. Gillam looks a little bit sore down there too, Smithy.
Landed on his ankle.
I was just going to say that, BT. It looked like he landed on his ankle just right there at the end.
Rowan Smith right in front of where that happened. Will keep an eye on Gillum as Favola. We know he's a long-range man. This is not a super goal attempt, I don't think. The man on the mark is right on the 50 line. Favola, kick on the way, is absolutely superb. You heard Rowan Smith right behind it there. Superb goal from Favola, his first. Rowan Smith, Gillum in front of you, perhaps a knee.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He's just walking right in front of me now, and he's noticeably limping. So I'll just keep an eye on him, and just as he comes off, he's going to speak to the doctor. So I'll give you an update in a minute.
Let's just see if there's a hyperextension of this knee.
Oh, yes.
I reckon there is, and I saw him grab that left knee. This is a critical few minutes for the Hawks.
And he's just going straight down underneath, boys, so I'll keep you updated on that.
You just saw that left knee hyperextend, and that could be anything from, just something minor to something we don't want to, I guess, think about. There he is, grabbing that left knee. And I don't think we're going to see him again today.
The physio in Gerard Healy just coming out there, very nice. The hyperextension of that left knee for Gillum does not look all that good. They recover from that, Gerard. That sort of...
Well, it all depends on what it is, Beats. I mean, that could be a cruciate. I mean, that's the real tragedy, something so simple.
Joseph looking a little groggy there as well for the Blues. As he gets out of the action area, Mitchell goes to work. Rough head up high and soccer off the ground attempt by Thorpe, not successful. Dived on the ball there, Keel. He'll be lucky not to be penalised here. He sucked it back in my view. The Hawks just 20 metres out from their attacking zone. Tackle. Picked up in the end by McGlynn. Shot has missed as he ran in almost unchallenged.
To Carlton's credit, Gerard, you have a look at the stats this quarter. They've had the 82 disposals to Hawthorn's 48. So they're starting to work their way into the game. They can just use the ball a little bit better. They're right in this match.
You can see why Keel was in a little bit of trouble there from that replay. Free kick with Suckling here. Forward line for the Hawks. The kick into Roughhead, but off the ball. Anderson offended against Moss, I think it was, and Moss will get a free kick. I reckon let it go and allow Roughhead to take the mark, but Moss has got the free. You can see there he was dealt with unfairly. The ball was still not in the vicinity, and a free kick will go to Gary Moss.
Played the one game for the Hawks.
Was it last year or the year before?
The year before, BT. And
so what's happened to him?
He's on the rookie list now.
Moss comes in, shot on goal, has dragged it across, and why has he not been able to play a few more games than that?
I think it's just about getting an opportunity. He's had a number of injuries, and he's obviously now been put on the rookie list, so it's fair to say this is his last chance.
Stevens, just that Favola goal that was kicked from beyond the arc, has been awarded a super goal by the umpires. Thanks, Michael. Even though the man on the mark stood on the line.
Nick Stevens has just walked across the line by kicking out from full back to BT.
So it'll be a ball up on the top of the square. Yeah, just seeing the replay there, his left leg over the line.
Oh, you can't do that.
It's deliberate. Rushed the behind.
You cannot do that.
Let's listen.
See, that is where that rule is a nonsense.
That was a deliberate handball, and there was no one within arm's reach, was there?
The rule's been good for the whole period of time, but the umpires have got to have the discretion here. I mean, that is silly. That's exactly what it was brought in to stop.
He certainly wasn't intending to give it to a teammate.
No.
That one will be debated long and hard all week, Gerard.
Well, I think it's just got to be a little bit more
black and white, and that,
well, I think the umpires have to interpret a little bit more than just simply the one that Joel Bowden did.
Chamberlain did say he's under pressure.
Good grab from Hampson. Dishes to Fisher. Fisher's kick is not great. Campbell got the front position in front of Favola, who infringes.
I reckon if you allow that one, Spud, you would allow 99% of the others. So all the ones where we've seen sides and players take risks to bring the ball from in the middle of the goalpost and the point post back along the line. The rule hasn't come into the regular season. Until I think they get it right, it's better off staying in the NAB Cup.
The Hawks in control of this foray forward. As once again, Roughhead is the target. And just doing enough to put him off his jump was Jamieson there.
It was a good body spoil from Jamieson. where he's going to wear a free kick, but he just had the poise. Here's Favola's mark. He landed
1 foot inside.
on the 50, one inside. So
is it where you land or where you take it?
It's where you land.
Okay.
It's a tricky one, but it has been awarded officially a super goal.
Well, it's like tennis. On the line's in. So on the line is that outside 50.
Spud just
He wants a job as Hawkeye.
getting us early on in the year when really I haven't got the ammo to come back at you just at the moment, Danny.
Smithy might know downstairs. Rowan?
No idea, Spud, at all. I'll go and ask the umpires if you want, mate.
Yeah, that'd be good, Rowan. It'd be great to get a definition from that. Here is Favola gone hunting just up the ground a little, and a nice give and go from him, and Cloak will get the result and kick forward, although unable to complete the mark, and Campbell just poles in. And a ball up.
He's a versatile player, Robbie Campbell. Normally helps out with Taylor in the rack, but with no Trent Crode for the start of the year for the Hawks, he's played on some big power forwards, so great versatility there for Robbie Campbell.
3 minutes in the half remain, and the Hawks lead it by just 16. It's been a good win this quarter for the Blues, and they're not done with yet. Here's Houlihan. Does that magnificently, doesn't he? The kick is not so good, and in the end a fumbled behind from Campbell.
Well, Campbell now is on Brendan Favola because of Steve Gillum off the ground.
They've done this pretty well, Hawthorn. They get the first one away, and they've got a very open forward line if they can just penetrate the midfield.
Guerra, a kick forward is not to really anyone in particular. Opportunity to have the ball picked up though was Thorpe. In comes Kennedy. He was wrapped up in the tackle of Joseph, a young man from Tasmania. Umpire throws it up.
No, you engage his arm, you lock his arm in.
A lot of bodies around, and the umpires plucked one there.
Here's Brad Sewell transferring play from the water side to the city side here at Docklands Stadium. Quite sure what it's going to be named in the future. Got an idea though. The Hawks wrapped up, minute 53, running away and taking them on Morton. He'll be penalised.
Well, they've got Favola one out in the 50. There's no one within 30 metres, but because they were slow in getting it away, that advantage is now dissipated.
Kick is good. Fisher. Prepared to just take their time here, the Blues. With a minute 30 in the first half remaining, and they're as close as they've been for some time. 15-point margin. I said play on, no mark paid there, and look at the numbers for Hawthorn on that half back line where they start their attacks. Mitchell's kick to Birchall, to Guerra.
Bev let the arm get out so he could get a handball away. He had him wrapped up. He's got that extra muscle. He needs to use it.
McGlynn, precise with the foot skill. Likewise, opportunity here presented to Bateman.
The new look, Bateman.
The new do is very nice. The kick forward, not so good. Thornton.
Well played, Thornton. Really well played. I reckon half of his teammates are already in the sheds. Spud at half-time. And they've got a minute to go. They'll be lucky not to give up a goal.
Now, Rowan Smith, we got any update on that Favola super goal?
Spud, I just went and spoke to Scotty McLaren. He said that if you take the mark and your foot is on the line, it's super goal. But if you're kicking on the run in play, if your foot is on the line, it's only a normal goal. So figure that one out.
Work that one out.
Beautiful work, Smithy.
Very nice. Might have confused.
Well, he's been laid up for a month with his hamstring. You have to get off the chair and go and talk to the emergency umpire there, Scotty McLaren.
Had a hamstring reattached back onto the bone. Rowan Smith went for a quick single in the cricket. Didn't quite get it done.
I think it was F grade, wasn't it?
McGlynn.
And Smithy, any latest on what's happening with Gillum for the Hawks?
He's not down here on the boundary, Jared. I went over and tried to speak to the doctor, but not to be involved in during the quarter.
Bryce Gibbs gets it off, and here is Murphy on the siren, after it in fact, to line up for goal, and this would be a very, very nice one. Get them back within single figures and 9 points. It's an easy kick 30 metres out. Beautiful conditions inside the stadium at the moment.
And he really has lifted Bryce Gibbs. One possession in that first quarter, 11 in this term, Spud.
Here is Murphy. Murphy comes in after the half-time siren to kick the goal. And that'll rejuvenate the Blues. Some excitement around that one. And it gets them back within 9 points. We have all of a sudden got a game on our hands here. It's the Hawks leading the Blues by 9 points.